I think a lot of people say this, but I'll say it too. It's possible, even if you don't think it's possible. It's all there, and it's all in you, right? It's all within you, what you want, what you can do, what's possible. So I think everybody needs something like a little travel to get, out of their own head, get out of their own way. So go travel somewhere and stop thinking about it for a little while and just let all the pieces fall into place. And you'd be surprised at how they'll fall.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Real Estate Podcast. Today we have special guest Jennifer Leonard with Leonard Homes, entrepreneur, momtrepreneur, and just all around awesome. She is a licensed real estate agent. She's a real estate investor. And today we're going to dive into who she is, how she was, found success through real estate investing and through real estate in general with her husband, Jude, Leonard Homes, and everything real estate with Jennifer. So thank you for joining today.
Thanks. Yeah, glad to be here.
I like to start these off by just learning about who you are, where you came from, how you grew up. If you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about, growing up, where you're from, and kind of how that may have shaped you into who you are today.
Okay, sure. I'm actually originally from Louisiana.
Where at?
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
It's like, to put into perspective of people who know Louisiana, it's an hour from Lake Charles and 2.5 hours from New Orleans.
Lafayette is true Cajun country, isn't it?
It is, yes. More than New Orleans.
Right.
New Orleans is Creole. Lafayette
Right.
is Cajun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you grew up in Lafayette.
Grew up in Lafayette. Well, technically, actually, to be specific, I grew up in a very small town called Mere, which is outside of Lafayette, but no one knows where that is unless you're from that area.
Uh-huh.
So, I grew up in the country. 9 acres, piece of land. Closest places were, actually, it's not very far. Nothing was far, like 15 minutes to Lafayette, to the city. And I say city respectively.
How big is that area, population-wise?
Mere population-wise, I feel like I've looked this up before. I want to say maybe like 2,000 on a good day.
What about Lafayette?
Lafayette is about 200,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's comparable to here. Like
Round Rock's like 200,000.
Okay, yeah. Lafayette has the second largest college in Louisiana, University of Louisiana, which is where I went.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good friend. He passed away, but his name is Wendell Guidry, and he was from Lafayette.
That sounds actually very familiar.
Wendell,
that's something from like Louisiana people. It's like, wait, what's their last name?
Well,
who's their parents?
Guidry,
I probably know them.
Guidry is is that a
very common name for that area? Yeah.
Wendell, he's a true Cajun. He's funny, but
is he about your age?
No, he is. I don't know. If he was alive today, he'd probably be like 61.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyways, he loved Lafayette, always talked about Lafayette, loves Louisiana, loves LSU, loves everything.
Yeah.
So
Louisiana has a very strong culture, and they really hold on to that. Their heritage is French.
Yeah.
So wrapped around that, you have a lot of festivals that celebrate that heritage, which includes food, music. So all of that is very rich in culture.
Cornbread.
Yes. I cook a lot of Cajun food.
Good.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to bring some.
Yeah, please.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're from Mere?
Yeah. Mere is the small town outside of Lafayette, which is a little more known.
Yeah. And so what was growing up like, living on 9 acres, out in the country?
I think I had a great childhood. We my parents were both 9-to-5 workers. I'm one of 5. I'm the second child in 5.
Okay.
I have 4 siblings. We went back and forth between public and private schools in the area. It's common to be in private schools in that area. It was great growing up, but there's not a lot of opportunity. When you get older, there's very limited view of growth in Louisiana. So I think I definitely started out my young adulthood with a limited mindset of what was possible.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting into college and not having any idea of what I wanted to do. And my teachers, I was a great student. I was like a student, 4.0, kind of. Had some rough patches, but we won't get into that.
Well, you got like a B on a test one time or something?
No, I got kicked off the cheerleading squad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Got in high school?
In high school, yeah. But other than that, I was like a A+ student. So like when I was going into college, I got a lot of recommendations from teachers and like, oh, you should do this. You would be great at this. This would be great for you. And I got a lot of communications. People telling me that I needed to be in communications just because of my ability to relate to people, I guess.
What does that even
talkative.
mean, being communications? Like,
as far as college goes,
yeah,
or
like,
for
like a career, when you're in communications, what are you doing?
It's like public relations, marketing.
I gotcha. Okay.
Advertising.
All right.
So that's what I did.
And so you went to University of Louisiana.
University of Louisiana, Lafayette, and I got my 4-year bachelor's degree in public relations with a minor in business.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What were your parents doing for work?
They were both pharmacists.
Pharmacists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we grew up comfortable, but my parents were both, let's see, my dad was a jockey, to give you an idea of my size. He rode horses all his life, and my mom loved horses. So they both wanted to live in the country. They liked country life.
Y'all have horses and everything growing up?
Yep. We've had horses growing up, dogs. My mom breeds dogs, has bred dogs for
What type of dogs?
all my life. She's changed types of dogs, so German Shepherds, Jack Russells. Now she's doing like doodle mixes, Aussie doodles and golden retrievers.
When she starts breeding miniature dachshunds, just let us know.
I will. Oh, I've had dachshunds before. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
They're pretty protective
They
for
are.
tiny dogs.
Yeah.
They're a protective breed.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, where was I going with that though?
Growing up with animals on the farm.
Growing up with animals, like we were comfortable financially, but we weren't. Nobody looked at us and said like, "Oh, they have money" or anything like that. You know.
Yeah. Your siblings is anybody else in your family an entrepreneur or have their own business?
Not at the moment. No.
Have they before?
We grew up definitely knowing that we were going to go to college. That was kind of like it wasn't even an option. It was just like, okay, where are you going to college? Not are you going to college?
Right.
And I mean, I've heard this from my mom several times. It's like you get a job. It's just what you do. It's just like the mindset was college, career, blank. There wasn't retire. Yeah.
Right.
My parents didn't really have an entrepreneur mindset. They're pharmacists. My dad does have 4 different degrees. So he's what I like to call like a lifetime learner. He went back and got several different degrees, which I definitely see in myself now as an adult. I think I'm a lot like him, as is my sister. No one else is entrepreneurs, but we have definitely shifted around our careers throughout our lives.
Yeah.
My older sister's a business manager for a while, and now she's a nurse and will be a nurse manager or, equivalent.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I get it. It was the same thing with my family. No one in my family has ever had their own business, nor will they ever, most likely.
Yeah.
And it probably was expected of me to go to college. I mean, everybody in my family has gone to college. Everybody has graduated from college. That was it probably was a non-negotiable for us as well, but I just didn't listen nor decide to go that path.
Yeah.
But everybody probably thought that because I didn't go to college, or because I didn't want a job, or because I didn't want to go the path that they went, that, everybody probably always thought my entire life, I don't know if Alex is going to make it or not, but
You surprised him.
yeah. But it's
good for you.
It's interesting though, because I think that's most people's perspective, and like it's what my grandparents did, it's what both my parents have done, it's what my sister's on the path of doing, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that whatsoever at all. It just was never very appealing to myself.
It's hard to see around it if it's all you see. If all you see is that college career mindset, if that's not for you, then it's hard to see what else is possible.
Yeah.
And for myself, I didn't know that it was possible because I didn't see many examples of it.
Right.
So
you graduated from ULA, Lafayette.
ULL.
ULL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Can't see, I didn't go to college. ULL, and you got your degree in
Public relations. Mm-hmm.
And so what'd you do outside of college?
Right outside of college, I got a job with a blood bank, and my title or roles were like public relations, marketing, and advertising, kind of all in one. It's pretty much setting up accounts to do blood drives. Mm-hmm. But within that, you're also doing public speaking. So you're going to speak at companies, talking about reasons why to donate, stats on all the medical information behind it, how it works. And so you're, public speaking, you're getting accounts. So it's sales and public relations all kind of wrapped up into one. Writing news articles for what you're doing as well. So I did that for 2 years, and like my first year, there were like 6 awards that they give out every year, and I got 5 out of those 6
Wow.
my first year doing it. Yeah.
All
like
right.
New accounts, numbers, just, certain things.
No big deal. Just
no big deal.
5 out of 6.
Yeah. So 5 out of 6, I got those awards, and I was like, okay. There were a couple reasons why I stopped doing that. There was a very personal thing that was happening in my life. I was going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. So I, at a very young age, 2 years out of college, I was going through a divorce. And my work ethics definitely took a back seat.
Yeah.
But also I had already felt like I had kind of mastered what I was doing, because I'd gotten all those awards. Like, okay, I know how to do this. This is easy. Let's just keep doing it. I actually don't think like my productivity went down. It was just maybe visibly to my coworkers didn't look like I was performing the same way because of what I was going through. Yeah. So I left that career, and what I was going through at that time made me realize that a 9-to-5 with 2-week vacation was just not. I needed. I was having a lot of life reflection, and I knew that I needed a different career that I was able to relate to more from a personal level, because that just wasn't it. I could hit the numbers, I could do all the things, but it didn't mean anything to me. Right. So I needed something that meant more on a personal level of who I was and who I was trying to be.
And what was that?
At that time, teaching.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you told me you taught before.
Yeah. So I got my master's in education after that.
So you went back to school?
Mm-hmm, I did.
Got it. At ULL?
That time I went to Louisiana College, which I actually researched recently, and they've changed their name. So, but at the time it was Louisiana College. It's a little north Louisiana, like a little Christian college. So I got my master's there at the same time of starting teaching, because in the private schools you don't actually have to have a teaching degree. You can teach without a degree as long as you're pursuing one. Right. So I was getting my master's at the same time as starting teaching.
And what were you teaching? What grade or subject? Or?
Middle school math.
Okay.
So in private school, I taught, it was a little private school, so I taught all 3 grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th, which if you're a teacher, that sounds insanely difficult because you have so many different curriculum to work on. So I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th, and I had 2 classes of each.
Okay.
I did that for 3 years before I moved to Austin.
Okay. And where was that at? Oh, was that in...
That was in a little town in Louisiana, Rain, Louisiana.
Rain?
Rain is what it's called.
Got it. Okay.
Next to Muir.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so what led you to Austin? Because, I mean, Austin's much different than...
Much different.
Rain or Muir or...
Yeah. Well, teaching, changing my career path, a lot of personal growth going on at that time in my life. I just realized that there was a limit to what I could do in Louisiana. There weren't a lot of people there with a growth mindset. I don't think I was using those words at that time, but I definitely saw that there was limited potential for me there, and I needed something more. I needed something bigger. So I was looking at other places to move. I had like a short list of 5 places that I wanted to go.
What were the 5?
Chicago, San Diego, Austin. Where else? Maybe somewhere closer like Houston, because Houston was closer to...
Why didn't you choose Chicago?
It's
cold?
too cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Chicago in the summer.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Love it. But I don't know if I could handle the cold.
Yeah.
And I had a friend there who was about to move back to Louisiana, so she needed somebody to take over her lease, and it would have been a very easy move. But I met Jude.
Yeah. So where and when did you meet Jude?
I met Jude in 2012. At the end of the year, I had a second job because I was a teacher and didn't make a whole lot at that time. So I also worked at a restaurant at nights, weekends, and Jude and his roommate would come to that restaurant pretty often. And I never talked to him, but I'd always see him. And Lafayette's the kind of town, like, you see people all the time. Even if you don't talk to them or know them, like, you recognize faces. So Jude was kind of that to me. I'd never talked to him, but I'd recognize him if I saw him. And then it was Christmas night. We were out after whatever our family Christmas activities were. We were both out at a bar, and he just walked right up to me and gave me a hug, like as if he knew me. And it caught me so off guard that I thought I knew him, gave him a hug, and I was like, hey, how are you? And then, like, kind of took a half step back and realized, like, oh, wait, I don't know you.
You're the guy from the restaurant.
Yeah, I see you all the time, but I don't know you.
Right.
Yeah. So
and then the rest is history, huh?
Yeah, he introduced himself to me. Yeah, the rest is history. I mean, we saw each other a couple times after that, and what's funny is I was there with a group of friends, including guys, girls, whatever, and he didn't know if I was there with anyone or not, and he was so bold. He just came right up to me and was like, I have to get your number. Like, I don't care, who you're with, but, like, I need to talk to you. you know? So.
Well, good.
Yeah.
And so y'all met then, and I assume started, seeing each other and dating.
Yeah.
And then together y'all were pursuing moving somewhere else, correct? Or...
Yes, I think I told him that I was ready to move somewhere, but we were so fresh in our relationship that nothing concrete, like, moved in that discussion. But he knew that I was ready to move somewhere and that I was pursuing other places. And I was kind of seeing where our relationship went, but I was definitely at a place that I wasn't going to be held back by a relationship, so I was ready to move no matter what. And I don't know, 4 maybe 5 months into our relationship, he asked me if I wanted to move with him, and I was like, you're speaking magic words. Yes. And he wanted to move to Austin, because he has family here. And I was like, oh, it's on my short list. Count me in. It was a no-brainer. So
Yeah. Is Jude from Lafayette?
he is not from Lafayette. He has family in Lafayette, and he was there going to college at the time.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay.
He has family in like southern Louisiana, Thibodaux. It's
Mhm.
a little more Creole, closer to New Orleans.
Yeah.
But he also grew up in California,
Oh, okay.
so he has
Got it.
a varied background.
Yeah.
hmm
All right. And so y'all moved to Austin
We moved to Austin 6 months after meeting each other officially.
with plans of
Um,
figuring it out.
I was just going to be a teacher at that time. That was my only route that I had in mind. I don't think even at that time that I had a mindset to change just yet. He was actually a medic, so we were just pursuing he had graduated in like health sciences, so he was pursuing that, and I was just continuing my career from teaching and moving to Austin. We just both needed to move.
Yeah.
Needed to get out of Lafayette.
Right. And so
Mhm.
what was it like coming to Austin? I assume that y'all had been to Austin before. Maybe you
I
haven't, but Jude
had been to Austin once for New Year's.
Uh-huh.
That was it. But I knew I liked it.
On 6th Street?
Yep, on 6th
So
Street.
that was your idea of Austin?
that was what I knew of Austin, and I was ready to move.
Yeah.
I knew that it was small enough and big enough for
Yeah.
what I needed at that time, and it was close enough because
And that
I'm
was
really
in
close to my family.
2012 or 13?
13.
13?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so y'all moved here and,
Mhm.
starting, new life together here in Austin. Did you get a job teaching?
I did, and I love looking back at it because I was very naive and thought, like, I'm a great teacher. I got all my credentials, a master's degree. It's going to be super easy to get a job. And I moved here, and I had to hustle to find a job. I moved here this summer, and school started, like,
Mm-hmm.
in August, and I moved in at the end of June,
Right.
the beginning of July, and was like, oh, I'll get a job. So I did.
Where'd you get a
but,
job at?
Dobie Middle School.
Okay, where's that?
It's on Runberg.
Okay, got it. So you got a job at Dobie.
Yep, got a job at Dobie. Very different than my private school teaching experiences
Yeah, I
in
bet.
Louisiana. Yeah, very different. If you know where Runberg is,
Yep, I know.
you have
Runberg.
an idea.
I do.
Yeah.
And
Is-
back then too is much different than
Yeah.
today, even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's known, just to give an idea, like nearly all of the public schools in Austin are Title I. So socioeconomic wise, it's a lot different than a private school
Right.
teaching in Louisiana.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 2013. You moved to Austin, teaching. Jude is EMT, right?
Mhm.
And so at this point in time, did y'all have any goals or dreams of getting into real estate, or the plan was to just continue this route? And
The plan at that time was just to continue this route. I believe Jude had foresight because like a year after we'd moved here, he wanted to buy a house.
Mhm.
And I owned a house with my ex before, and I didn't want to do that again. I
Mhm.
still own that house, by the way, and it's making me money in Louisiana. Thank
Good.
you. But I didn't want to do that again. So I was a
Potentially
little
have to
apprehensive.
go through that process again. Yeah.
But he convinced me that it was worth it to invest in buying a house together, regardless of what our future held. He wanted to do that. So in 2015, we bought a house together in Austin.
Okay. 2015.
Hmm We
Where
weren't
at?
married. South Austin, like Sunset Valley area.
Yeah. Okay. So you bought the house together, but
Mhm.
really, I mean, it was. It wasn't. You weren't really thinking about
No.
real estate investing.
No, not at that time.
Right.
That was just a smart personal investment to do. But
Right.
it wasn't like a future career goal
When-
at that time.
When did y'all start thinking about, like, y'all both licensed? So when did
Mhm.
y'all both kind of dive into the business side of real estate?
So I guess maybe it was a couple years after we bought our house in Austin that we started looking into or getting information from wholesalers. I don't know where this was an interest of Jude's, and he was giving me information of wholesalers. We went, had a spiel delivered to us from some local wholesalers, and at the time I thought it was a huge scam. I was like, this is crazy. This is
impossible. You go to their office, they're
like,
all right, sign this document.
Yeah. I literally recorded the conversation on my phone because I thought it was going to be so scammy that I wanted to go back and be able to listen to it and like figure out how it was getting sold, like how much of a scam it was.
Yeah, but you wanted to analyze the scam later.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think it was a legit business. Skip to 2018. I think both of us were fed up with our jobs.
You're still teaching?
I was teaching. I was burnt out. That's 8 years teaching total. 5 years in Title I public schools in Austin. I loved teaching. I loved the mentorship of it, the relationships that you build with these students and see them grow, help them grow, foster that growth. But the politics really started to get in the way of it. The requirements of me started to get too demanding, and I don't feel like I was able to pass on that authentic mentorship as much anymore because of how stressed I was becoming.
Yeah.
So I really saw myself change as a teacher, and I realized like I wasn't the teacher I wanted to be anymore. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed
something different.
Again.
And Jude was at EMT this whole time?
Mm-hmm. And his job was pretty stressful as well. Yeah. It's pretty demanding physically, mentally.
Yeah.
And I think it was wearing on him too.
Sure, emotionally too.
Yeah, very. So I'd always had a desire to travel the world. And, we'd had a house. I was still building up savings, and I was like, okay, well, like, what's the next thing? Like, what are we doing? What am I saving this money for? Like, what? I want to go travel. Like, we were burnt out on our jobs. Like, let's do it now. We don't have a family. Let's just go. So we started to put into plans traveling. So we both quit our jobs completely, and we went travel Southeast Asia and parts of Europe for a little over a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of you guys.
Yeah.
Like riding camels in the desert somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. That was India.
In India.
Northern India.
What so I'm sure that was an amazing experience in its own. What was so going from the high stress environments that y'all were in, being burnt out, to just traveling and having some freedom, experiencing new things, experiencing different ways of life, seeing different cultures, meeting new people, new ideas, especially coming from, town of 2000, living in the country, like you said, with not many new ideas.
And limited foresight of what's available.
Yeah. What was, aside from, I'm sure, just feeling some sense of freedom there, what do you feel like, I'm curious, what were some major, takeaways or insights that you gathered from seeing so many different places, people, ways of life, that y'all, have implemented or, kind of led you to where you're at today?
There are definitely, I mean, that was 5 years ago now that it started, 4 years ago since it ended. But, I mean, I still think about that trip daily, and the effects of it still affect me, and probably will for a very long time. In hindsight, it definitely was the catalyst to getting into real estate, because leaving that stress, narrow-minded mindsets, it took a while to come down from, actually. It was very hard to transition. Immediately when you leave, you're in vacation mindset, which is different from traveling mindset. It's less of a vacation mindset, is more of a having fun, filling your days with fun activities and doing all the tourist checklists and whatnot. And shifting into travel mindset is like, it's a little more long term, a little less high energy adventure seeking, and
not so much packing each and every day.
yes.
Full of things.
Yeah. And part of my reasoning for wanting to travel and get into that mindset was to do more self-reflection, get out of the American grind mindset, find myself and who I was without everything that I had tied my identity to.
Did you find it? Hey, this is Alex, and I'm the co-owner of TRE. Since the beginning of time, real estate has created more millionaires than any other investment, and I want to get you involved in a community that will help you achieve your goals within real estate investing. I know you don't have the knowledge, connections, or resources to start investing today. Most people spin their wheels over and over and over without ever actually taking any action to successfully start investing. That's why I want to get you involved in our community so that you can get the hands-on support, training, and meet the other members that you can start doing deals with in order to start investing in real estate. You need to get in the room with the right people who can help you achieve your goals and get the hands-on support and one-on-one training that you need in order to start investing. Just click on the link in the description to join the entrepreneur community today.
Yeah, I think so.
What'd you find?
I don't know how to put that into words. I mean, I think it's ever evolving and defining itself. But I found my security of who I am. I found my stability within myself. And I remember, it was so funny. I had the same phone number from when I was in high school. The first time I ever got a phone, I had the same phone number for 15 years. And when you leave the States, you either have to pay for a long distance plan or cut it off altogether. Because we were going to be gone for so long, I cut it off. And that was hard. Like, I had an identity crisis. Like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not going to be this person. And I really reflected on that. Like, my identity was tied to a phone number, you know?
Yeah, just the way of life and the things that you were used to doing on a daily basis.
And not, like, fully, not my whole identity, but just seeing how hard it was. Yeah. And the little things that were so difficult to leave behind, your house, your space, how hard it is to live without your own space is interesting when you're traveling. Where
would y'all stay?
We would stay in hotels, hostels. You'd call them homestays there.
You just mean not coming to your home.
Space.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, like, I mean, some hostels, like, your bed is the only space that you have is your bed. You're in, you know, a room of
20 other people.
Yeah, 20 other people.
Right.
You don't have, like, your closet, your dresser, where all your things are. Like, so that physical identity of yourself is also kind of stripped away. Going home to your house and your things is part of your identity. So when you don't have your home or things to go home to for over a year, it strips away that identity, you know?
Yeah. So it's freeing. I mean, you're letting go of all the things that, you know, you were tied to.
Yeah, very. And where are we going with that? I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, we were talking about, I mean, so I don't think many people do that.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
Nor do I think, I mean, probably very few people do that.
Yeah.
Go just travel for a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that that's an experience, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very big experience.
A life-changing experience, depending on what you gathered, finding yourself, letting go of all the things that, you know, you once tied yourself to. I mean, I think just naturally seeing different cultures, different people, different ways of life are going to change the way that one views the world or anything that they're involved in. Like, for example, myself, like whenever we do travel somewhere, not for a year, but whenever we do travel somewhere, always on the plane back from wherever we were traveling, I have new ideas of what to do and or implement or direction to go within our business, just from experiencing different things, seeing how other things are run, talking to different people, seeing how different places operate. And so that's just within the United States for the most part.
And do you think it's part of like being able to step away too and get out of your
absolutely.
bubble of constant consistency?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a huge part of it is, not only I'm very routine driven. I do things by routine. I don't like messing up my routine. I have things planned out, constantly. I don't operate spontaneously at all, and I dislike it.
You dislike that you don't operate spontaneously?
No, I dislike
acting spontaneously.
Correct.
Okay.
I like planning things out, even when traveling. If I know that, like, we want to go do this or that, I plan out my morning to wake up at this time, to go to the gym by this time, to be back by this time, to then go, and just mentally I plan things out. So breaking that routine of what I do here, going somewhere else, helps out tremendously as well.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that breaking that consistency for us is what led me to opening my mind and what's possible for my next steps, getting back from our travels as well. We looked into things like how can we make money while we were traveling. I did like what is it when you transcribe? Transcriptions for a little while. So like you'd get audio and you'd transcribe it. I looked into things like Fiverr and drop shipping and.
Yep. Did you try any of them other than the transcribing?
No. No. We thought about it. We went to meetups in Thailand for drop shipping.
That's cool.
And there are a lot of people there, a lot of people who move to Thailand, Southeast Asia that do that kind of work. The motto is make dollars, spend baht, which is the money there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
baht goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
Where was your favorite place y'all traveled to?
That is a question that everybody asks us, and it's so hard to answer because different places for different reasons. Yeah. Thailand, best food. Absolutely. 100%. The food, Thailand.
I heard you can live like a king and queen in Thailand for like 10 USD.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you really can. I mean, like, it's really easy to get a meal for $1 and like a good meal, a full plate.
Right.
Of pad thai. For spiritual growth, India. Yeah. We were in Thailand for 3 months out of the year. We were in India for 4 months out of the year. But then, I mean, I guess that's relative too because India was the end of our trip, so there's a lot of just development that happened along the way.
But India, I mean, I don't know. I would think India, when I think of India, I would associate it with spirituality.
Growth. Yeah. And it's interesting because India just has that energy. It's like you don't even have to be looking for it, and it's going to find you there. Yeah. So.
Food, Thailand, spiritual growth, India. Most beautiful landscape or, architecture or.
Beautiful landscape. They were all beautiful. Vietnam landscape.
Okay.
Yeah. Just unexpected beauty in Vietnam.
Yeah.
The karst limestone mountains. I don't know. They're just beautiful. And then unexpected. Laos. Laos. Yeah.
Where's that?
It's in between Thailand and Vietnam.
Okay.
So Vietnam is like your East Coast, Southeast Asia. It's like a strip that north to south. Thailand is more like west of that kind of peninsula area. and Cambodia and Laos are in between them, and Laos is right in between. So it's landlocked, but it still has a lot of similar, like, merging cultures of Thai and Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. So y'all get back, and then when did y'all decide to get your licenses or go into real estate when you get back?
So I think the idea kept circling around in our heads during our trip, actually. While we were looking for other possibilities, we stayed in a lot of Airbnbs. And there was one, we were in Bali, and I met the Airbnb owner. Mm-hmm. And I just thought in my mind, like, I want to be her one day. Like, she has all these Airbnbs in Bali, and she's just here sitting in the pool with her kids. You know, like, I was just imagining her life and what it was like, and just thinking, like, what it would be like. Mm-hmm. That was pretty early on in our travels, and I think that mindset kept coming back to me, or that thought kept coming back to me. And somewhere in our travels, I realized, like, I am already that person in a way. I have a house in Louisiana that I rent out. We have a house in Austin. I'm a landlord. Like, so I already have some of that identity that I can build on too. And maybe, I started circling back on all those wholesaling conversations. And, hey, drip marketing works because I was still getting their emails. And I was like looking at it and I was like, this is actually an option. Like, this is actually possible. And I think just, it's hard to explain the depth of being away from such a closed mindset for so long. The opportunities that were already there just kind of started to be more apparent to me, if that makes sense. And I just started to see the possibilities a little more.
Yeah.
Our second to last stop on our travel was Greece. We were in Greece on a ferry getting from one island to the next, and Jude shows me this listing of a house for sale in Louisiana. It was like $20,000 house that needed to be moved, and it was like a 3-2 old house but still in great shape. And he was like, we could, like, buy that house and move it to Austin and sell it for 10 times what it's worth, what they're asking for it. And I was like, you're right, we could. So we actually started crunching the numbers on that. We looked up, like, how much it cost to move houses. We were, like, digging into it. And I think it was on that ferry in Greece that we were like, let's do real estate when we get back. And it was just an aha moment of everything that accumulated beforehand.
Did y'all do that deal?
We did not, but we almost did. I mean, like, we were talking to the sellers. We had things lined up. Ultimately, we didn't have a place to put it. Was our main hurdle that we couldn't get over at the time. But I think that just showed us the potential. Because we started digging into Austin market at that time for that reason. We were looking at the Louisiana market, and it just became accessible all of a sudden. And
so when did y'all get back from traveling?
End of 2019.
Okay.
October.
So October 2019, and the decision had been made that y'all are not going to go back to what you were doing. Teaching EMT. Going to go into real estate. Was the goal to, because y'all are both both licensed, but y'all obviously are viewing things from a investor's mindset. So what was the mindset behind getting licensed and doing investing?
At that time, we just wanted to invest. We got back, like, we landed back in the States, and I just started calling people I knew in real estate. Any facet of the business.
They
and
were
just
like, who is
asking
this?
questions. Yeah.
I don't have this number saved.
Like, everyone I knew. They're like, hey, do you remember me? But oddly enough, like, people were already following all my travels. They were like, oh yeah, they wanted to talk to me because of what they saw that I was doing. So they wanted to know about my travels, and I wanted to know about real estate. So I just started talking to everybody I knew that was in real estate. And that one of those conversations was a mortgage broker friend of mine from Louisiana, Jordan Gerard, excellent mortgage broker. I think he's in Texas also, just not Austin specifically. But we just started talking to him, and he just knew all the ins and outs. He had been in the business for 10, 15 years maybe, and he had seen flips. He had helped people on flips before, and he was like, hey, you wanna do a flip? I'll help you. And I was like, really? I thought it was too good to be true. So I was like, let me put this offer on hold and talk to my, at that time, fiance. We weren't married yet. So like things just, as we dug into it, things became more and more accessible, but our goal was only to invest and flip, but we wanted to get licensed so that first of all, it just added to our knowledge of the field. We wanted to know
more information.
Yeah, more information. And we wanted to be able to list our own homes.
Got
period.
It. Why flipping though? Because you had seen like Airbnbs. You obviously at that time owned 2 rentals. So why flipping?
That at the time was a means to an end. It's like, let's build the capital. Flipping would be a way to build capital and then eventually use that capital to buy long-term investments.
Got it.
And maybe do both, but that was kind of the trajectory. Capital, investments.
And you and Jude had bought a house that y'all rented out at this time, but you know, this would be probably y'all's first time working together in a business, doing something like that.
Yes. Yeah. We thought that traveling together, because there's a lot of things you deal with as a couple when you're traveling together 24/7 for over a year. We're like, okay, well, I think we can do a business together now. Just more communication.
Right.
Figuring it out.
Yep. So y'all worked with your mortgage broker friend, John Gerard.
Yep. We ended up taking him up on that offer, and to him it was a no-brainer. He's like, I want to look at the numbers. I'm going to look at the house anyway. It's an asset. So whether you finish it or don't, I'll still have an asset, and I'll be able to do with it what I want. So for him, he felt secure in doing that. He spotted us the money to buy and flip the house completely. So we didn't spend anything, actually.
Did y'all find the deal?
We did, through a wholesaler.
Here in Austin?
Oh, well, find.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, so y'all got the deal through a wholesaler.
We did.
It was here in Austin?
It was here in Austin. We went back to those wholesalers that had approached us a few years ago. We got on their lists again. We started doing a lot of, we did a lot of research, we read so many books about flipping, YouTube videos. We just, our job when we got back was just to educate ourselves as much as possible. So like YouTube University.
Yeah.
We bought so many books about flipping. We talked to everybody that we knew. We got in, the wholesalers led us to Facebook groups and networking groups. So we did everything that we could to get our name out there and meet everyone we could possibly meet in the industry.
Did you meet Matt at that time?
I think we did. Yeah. We did. Because that was end of 20, beginning of 2020. So we were kind of all starting at the same time. I mean, y'all were starting your brokerage at the time. Yeah.
But that was what Matt was doing at that time, was just meeting as many people as he possibly could.
Yeah. So we met him.
Yeah.
We met him. We met Doreen. Doreen was a big reason why we ended up with Teifke as well. Yeah. Meeting y'all in that networking circle early on.
So y'all are just gaining information and knowledge, and then you buy the property. It's different, right? I'm sure y'all have done some sort of renovations, give or take, maybe to y'all's properties beforehand, but it's different when you got a timeline, you got contractors burning money every day. Yeah, much different. But that's where a lot of our research came in handy. We went in as prepared as possible. I think we got laughed at on this day, but we got the house locked in with the wholesalers. And then we had a bid day, which we read about doing in some of those books. Is
getting all the contractors out at once. I guess they don't actually do that very often here. But we didn't even own the property, but we had contractors out one day, like, you know, we invited, I don't know, 20 contractors to come out and bid the property. They didn't like it.
The wholesalers?
No, the contractors.
Yeah.
The contractors didn't like it.
Who the hell are these people?
Yeah, they weren't too happy about it. But, I mean, it shows them they're in not competition necessarily is what you want. But, yeah, I mean, they had to give us their best offer, you know. But yeah, the wholesalers worked with us on that. They opened it for us and let us do it because it was a vacant property anyway. So,
so what were some of your biggest learning experiences through the first flip?
How to work with contractors. Expectations of that. That was probably the biggest learning experience that you can't get from a book.
Right.
Was, you know, who's buying the materials?
Yeah.
Are you overseeing the quality? Do I need to come in and oversee the quality? So the expectation in a new relationship with a contract is something you can't learn.
No. I mean, a book. There can be guidelines on like how to approach it, but even every single contractor is different. Yeah. So it's, you know, they're all different relationships and handled differently.
Yeah. Permitting. We learned a lot about permitting in that first one. We almost got hurt by the COVID. So when we finished our flip was right when the quarantine started. So we kind of freaked out. Like, oh crap, like who's gonna, like, is the whole market gonna shut down? We didn't know what to expect. I mean, like, we listed the day like they kind of implemented a quarantine.
March 13th.
Yeah. Yeah, it was middle of March.
Yeah.
Luckily people weren't bothered by it too much, I guess. But we had to finish up some permitting at that time also, and the city of Austin shut down. So, or the city of Austin permitting, like, totally changed how they did things.
Right. So now you got to make an appointment.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we closed by, like, the skin of our teeth on that deal.
In terms of financially?
In terms of finishing our permitting to close.
Yeah.
Because we had to finish up some we had to make changes after we were under contract. So to get those changes done under the permitting guidelines by closing time, like, we ended up just having to pay for the buyers to stay in a hotel for 2 nights. And I mean, we learned so much in that deal just because of the stress of that part that, I don't know, it really, really made us know every part of flipping.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best
selling.
way to learn.
Yeah.
And so that first one, was it profitable for you guys?
It at that time, yes, it felt very profitable.
Yeah.
We you know, with Jordan, we had a deal, and you know, the total profit was 40, and we split with Jordan, and it felt amazing. Like, I'd never seen that much money at one time.
Right.
At that time, you know, making a teacher salary.
Right.
That's almost my entire annual salary.
Right.
So.
And so from that point, you realized what was possible.
Yeah.
How y'all could really kind of take it, and this could, because at this point you don't really know, right? Like, are we going to make it? You know, is it going to work out? Is it going to happen the way we want it to?
Yes. And the fact that COVID had hit at that time too was definitely like, where we had this great, we flipped it. We stayed within our budget. We made a profit, and now all this stuff is happening. Can we continue this? Is this even possible to continue? So we were pretty slow that first year, 2020, and getting like our next one. So we took our time and we waited till we found a really good deal. We didn't know. We just waited it out, you know. But another good deal came along through another wholesaler. We negotiated them down. So because it was such a good deal, we were like, all right, let's do this again. Let's see if it's possible to do again. And that one, the permitting was taking so long because of the city of Austin that we were like, we need another one we can't just have one going at a time.
Right.
So let's try to get another one. So we did. So we had 2 homes purchased within 2020. And then what happened at the beginning of 2021. I mean, the 2 houses that we bought at the end of 2020, we waited to sell because we had finished them right at the end of we finished one of them in December 2020. So we waited till January because it was the holidays. And that's when the market went crazy. So we had these 2 flips that we bought, prices of 2019 pre-COVID. And then the market just like blew up right in front of our eyes. And we're like, oh my gosh. I mean, that was really the takeoff moment. Yeah. So you had those 2 that you flipped in 2020, didn't sell till 21. How many properties have y'all flipped all together? In total, 9. 9? Yes. Wow, all right. The majority of that being in 2021. Yeah. 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 Strike while the iron's hot. Yeah, and we were. And it was obvious that wasn't going to last. Right. So we were just doing as much as we could at that time. We were buying them as fast as we could. And we got really lucky on finding an off-market without a wholesaler. For our 4th one. And then we decided to flip our homestead that we had bought in 2015. So we bought that with a 2015 price and then sold it in 2021 after a full house remodel. So where was that one? Oh, you said South Austin. Valley. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And so flipped 9 houses. Kept 1 as a rental. Yes. Our most recent flip we kept as a rental. Yeah. Yeah. The market did change on us. We tried to get out of it, but it made more sense to hold on to and just to wait and see. So where's that one at? Also South Austin. The majority of our flips were South Austin. Okay. Not Sunset Valley though. Yeah. It's more just 4-5. Okay. A little more east. And so when was the last time you bought a property? Well, we've shifted to looking into our rentals now. So that was actually our last purchase, but we've been looking into other long-term holds. Yeah. And what are your goals with investing moving forward? Because right now, I mean, it's possible to flip. Yeah. But it's not 2021 anymore. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. So, yeah, we have shifted our goals. We've shifted our trajectory, I guess you could say. We do want to flip again in the future. We're just kind of waiting it out. Not to say that it's not a good market. Like, if there are people that are being very profitable in flipping right now still. It just... we did a lot in 2021, and I think at the end of that year we also got a little burnt out. So we put a pause on it because of the burnout and the market, and because we had a baby. Yeah. So that also affected our change. We are looking for rentals, and I independently am focusing more on my representation side. Yeah. So while we were flipping, I was representing buyers and sellers just from hearsay because people knew that we were in the business, so we would get sent referrals, but I wasn't actively, purposely growing that side of my business. Yeah. It's hard to. Yeah, it's hard to do both, you know, because it's a different mindset. Right. A little. The flipping, I mean, you're just in the process of the construction, the remodel. you're still wanting to build relationships with the whole industry,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, but it's a different focus. When you're working the agent side, representing buyers and sellers, you're really focusing more on that, building up your community, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
different.
I wrote this down earlier. You didn't mention it, but you have always wanted to be a singer.
Yeah. In my limited life of possibilities as a child, a singer was an option.
What do you like to sing?
I don't know. Right now, lullabies.
Yeah.
Pop stuff.
Do you ever go do
Fleetwood Mac, that kind of stuff.
open mics or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to. My brother loves to sing also, and he is an avid open mic person. So whenever we're together, we do open mics together.
Is there any singing in the future?
Yeah, for fun.
For fun?
For fun. I mean, it's Austin. You know, there's a lot of artists in Austin. There's a lot of great talent in Austin.
Yep.
I think I used to want a career in that. But because it is a passion that's so close to my heart, I think I would rather keep it as a passion.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Do you want to sing a song live? I'm just joking. We won't.
You got some karaoke words?
We
for
won't make
me?
you do that. No, and so focusing on the retail side of your business, representing buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm.
What is your goal for the next 12 months from today? I don't know, or 2024. What is your goal for Leonard Homes?
For Leonard Homes, I just want to grow my image in the industry. I want to build a community around where I am now in life, which is a mom, an entrepreneur, and a business person. And I want to build a community around me that supports that life.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten burnt out in teaching. I've found stillness in traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to find that middle way.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it's more than possible. You're talking about community around like other moms and things of that nature.
Yeah. But also in growing my business.
Right.
So I want my business to be grown authentically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I research. I went to school for public relations. I see how people are using digital marketing a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what's possible and I know what's authentic to me. And so I'm just trying to find that what's authentic in my growth. And, I think I'm naturally a community builder. So that, I believe, is my image of what my business will reflect.
Yeah.
You know?
John Michael.
Yeah.
Terry, he does a lot on the community side of things. With building up. His is focused around dads. So Leander dad groups.
Yeah.
And they do a lot. It's pretty cool to watch what, he's been able to do for specifically Leander dads. That
cool.
They play basketball together. They have, their poker night together. They do things to give back to the community. And not only has that helped his business, I believe, but, really kind of, he enjoys building that and being a part of it. And so when you're talking about building your community and being around, moms and building the business at the same time and being a natural community builder, that's kind of what I think about.
Yeah.
As an example.
Yeah. That's where I want to be. I mean, that's what I want to do. The flipping was fast and fun, and in 2021, exponential growth.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's long-term growth, so it's that slow burn.
What would be your piece of advice to, I don't know, 22-year-old Jennifer Leonard, who is a teacher somewhere. She's watching this podcast. She's not quite sure what she wants to do. What would be your advice to her?
Just keep doing you and honoring you, just finding the self, I guess. Yeah. Don't give in to what other people's lives or needs are. Focusing on you is what's going to get you there.
Yeah. All right. And then what about for somebody who is watching this and they have goals of being a real estate agent or being a real estate investor, flipping houses, but they just haven't taken that first step yet? They're watching this on YouTube. They're on part of the YouTube University, or they listen to this on a podcast, or they've listened to all the podcasts, read all the books. What would be your advice to them?
I think a lot of people say this, but I'll say it too. It's possible, even if you don't think it's possible. It's all there, and it's all in you, right? It's all within you, what you want, what you can do, what's possible. So I think everybody needs something like a little travel to get, out of their own head, get out of their own way. So go travel somewhere and stop thinking about it for a little while and just let all the pieces fall into place. And you'd be surprised at how they'll fall.
Yeah. All right. And let's see. Is there anything else you want to tell anybody who's watching this podcast? Any last piece of wisdom? Any last piece of advice?
I don't know. Believe that it's possible, and it is.
Yeah.
If you see a problem, it could be an obstacle or it can be an opportunity, depending on how you look at it. So if you see possibilities, it's possible.
It's all about your perspective.
All about your perspective.
Well, good. How can everybody watching this get a hold of you? If anybody watching is looking to maybe buy an investment property or they want to get a hold of you and Leonard Homes, how can they find you guys?
We're mostly on Instagram, Facebook a little bit. Leonard Homes ATX is our handle on Instagram and Facebook as well. And I have a separate Instagram because I post a lot about my little girl, and I don't necessarily want that public. But all my business and personal is at Leonard Homes ATX.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on today, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.